Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, entitled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. So we had started the text 8 through 12, 13 chapter, text from 8 through 12. It has lots of qualities or the knowledge that Krishna says a self-realized soul, a person who is engaged in worshipping the personal form of Krishna should have. So we had discussed, he started with amanitva, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance. I think these four we discussed. So then the next quality is simplicity. Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. As for acceptance of the spiritual, okay, that is Acharya Upasanam. So simplicity. So Prabhupada gives wonderful definition of simplicity. It means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. So that kind of simplicity, it's very, very difficult to obtain. Because we are always looking after our self interest in everything. So in that, many times, of course, we don't want to be so simple that people take advantage or can exploit us. But at the same time, we have to understand anything anybody does, he cannot do without the sanction of Krishna. So if somebody is exploiting, somebody is taking advantage of us, somebody is misusing us, first of all, it cannot happen without the sanction of Krishna. And if Krishna is sanctioning, it's for our good anyway. But that faith has to be there. That faith has to be very much there. That we completely surrender, give up everything to Krishna, on Krishna's hands. Just like Bharat Maharaj, when he, after the body of Bharat Maharaj, he took the body of a deer, and the next body was again of human being, but he was called Jad Bharat. Jad means like a very simple, like buffoon kind of person, who was like a Mudha, who didn't know anything. But he was acting like that kind of person, Mudha. He knew everything. He was self-realized soul, but he was acting like he doesn't know anything. And when some dacoits came to the village and they took him for sacrifice in front of Mother Kali, and he did not protest at all. He went with them. He said, okay, I'll come with you. And when they were about to sacrifice him, when they were about to cut off his head with a chopper in front of Kali, Kali herself appeared from the deity form. And she snatched the chopper from the dacoit's hands and she killed every single dacoit over there. Because they were going to commit an offense against a Vaishnava. And that's why she got very, very upset. So Krishna is there to protect his devotees. A devotee just with his clean, simple heart, he has to surrender unto Krishna. With diplomacy, which is also called Kutinati, in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Kutinati. People can try to protect their interests of themselves, and but in the process, see what happens is when we become here, Prabhupada is diplomacy, but it could be crookedness also, because simplicity, the antonym is crookedness. When we become crooked in our hearts, then we cannot attract Krishna, because we are always, at every single moment, we are thinking in in a wrong way, in a crooked way, in a way that how I can take advantage of others, how I can exploit others, how can I do this to put myself in the front. So that is not simple behavior. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj used to say, Vaishnavism means simplicity. Saralta I Vaishnavata. Means if you want to be Vaishnava, if one wants to be devotee, he has to be simple. Of course, simple doesn't mean that if something we have to take care of a Krishna service and then we let others take advantage and that service is hampered. So one has to be straightforward, but one does not have to be diplomatic or crooked. And another problem with crookedness is, or cheating mentality, is when we have that kind of mentality or inside us, if that kind of energy is there, then first we will, that energy will always attract similar kind of energy. If we have a cheating mentality, cheating propensity, then we will definitely find people who are ready to cheat us. And secondly, another problem with that is, I mean, these are not get mentioned in Bhagavatam, but these are practical things that we know. If I have cheating tendency within me, then everybody I look at, every person I deal with, I will think he's cheating me. Or he is a cheater, he has this cheating tendency with others. Because my consciousness becomes like that. We can say like, I wear that kind of glasses. If I'm wearing red color glasses, I'll see everything red. So if I have this cheating propensity, cheating tendency in my heart, I will see everybody, I look at everybody suspiciously. I will think they are there to cheat me, or they are cheating somebody else. And this is not bhakti. Bhakti is when we have to be very simple at heart, very simple. Because then and then only we can take full shelter of Krishna. Why Krishna is telling of these qualities here? Because he wants us to develop these qualities. And Prabhupada did mention, yes, with chanting, with bhakti, we will develop, but we have to work on these qualities in ourselves. If anybody says anything, and the first thing in the material world, everybody is trying to protect their interests. So for that, even if somebody has to lie, and people do lie all the time, I mean, they don't even realize, but they are lying. And that when this, anytime you ask anything, and he won't tell you the truth. It will be a lie. Whether the person knowingly or unknowingly he is saying it. But because his tendency is like that, he doesn't realize he's lying. And then he won't be able to trust anybody around him, because he's attracting that kind of energy. And that kind of energy will cover his eyes, or cover his consciousness also. So that kind of life is not for devotees. Of course, we can for time being we can cheat others, we can cheat other devotees, and we can think, or we can pretend that I am a very big devotee, I am a very strong, very pure, very surrendered soul. But that thing doesn't last too long, because Krishna is sitting there in the heart, and he knows everything. We cannot hide anything from him. So for a devotee, it's very, very important to be simple, very simple, not to tell lies. Of course, sometimes, because of it says in Bhagavatam that we have to speak the truth, but in a very palatable way. So sometimes if the person we are telling the truth to, he is not ready to take it, then sometimes we have to tell little lies. But that's for his benefit, not to hide ourselves or not to pretend ourselves as big devotees. So sometimes we have to, but that we have to see why we are doing and how often we are doing it. But in general, a devotee has to be very simple and very truthful. So when he is truthful with others, he is truthful to himself, and he is truthful to with Krishna, he is truthful to Guru, then he can make progress. Otherwise, we will attract the different energy. If whatever is in our heart, we'll attract that kind of energy. And that's not good for our bhakti. That's not good for our spiritual life. So if somebody can tell the truth without being afraid of the consequences, that's something that we should develop, that kind of confidence, that kind of faith. It is difficult because in material life we tell lies all the time to protect ourselves, to save our position, save our property or assets or whatever we have, to save our relationship. We tell lies. But we should try not to. Because once a reputation of a devotee, if a person is, yeah, he always tells the truth, no matter what, then he will always be protected. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is considered such a pure devotee, such a sinless devotee. We have read in Bhagavatam about his character. Krishna organized a whole war of Mahabharata just to put Yudhishthira Maharaj on the throne. Why? Because Yudhishthira Maharaj was very much qualified. He had never told a lie in his life. We can't even imagine a person who hasn't never told a lie. Only time when Krishna forced him to tell lie was when Dronacharya had to be killed. Even that time, Yudhishthira Maharaj was hesitant. How can I tell a lie? And because of that hesitation for a moment, because he didn't want to follow Krishna's orders, he had to go to hell just for a moment. But then somebody can say, why Krishna was forcing him to lie? Krishna himself should be simple and straightforward. But Krishna has many other viewpoints or things to look at just with one incident. So we cannot complain. We cannot blame it on Krishna. Whatever Krishna does, that is dharma. And at that time, Dronacharya had to be killed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is considered wonderful. Harishchandra, Maharaj Harishchandra, never told a lie. And he is still glorified. He is always glorified in the scriptures. Can you imagine Shakuni being glorified? Shakuni was always lying. But he is never glorified. Yudhishthira Maharaj, Maharaj Harishchandra, they are always glorified. Because they were known to tell the truth. And the Prabhupada thing, he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. That is real simplicity. But if we cannot develop this quality to that extent, even to an enemy, at least uh, let us bring it to our attention or bring it to our consciousness that I'm not gonna tell lies. So at least, so suppose right now we are telling the truth maybe 50 times and 50% time and 50% time we lying. At least increase the quantity of truth telling. Then we can see our life will become very simple actually. Because when we tell the truth, we don't have to remember what we said. Because we always tell the truth. If we tell a lie, we have to try to remember what I told this person and what I'm going to tell that person, because it's always a lie, and then people will also not believe us. So negative energy will always attract more and more negative energy, and it will create a kind of a curtain on our eyes. We'll see everybody is cheating. So that is not the way to make progress. And then is Acharya Upasanam. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential. Because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach the spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulative principles. Or the regulative principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. So how one should approach a spiritual master, Krishna has given that in 4th chapter also. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So one should approach a spiritual master, humbly serve him and humbly ask him questions, and then he can reveal the truth because he has seen the truth, because he is a representative of Krishna. But one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master with all humility and offer him services and then ask questions. And Prabhupada is saying, if he is bona fide, if it's a spiritual master is bona fide, he can make the disciple immediately advanced. Immediately he can. Srila Prabhupada himself did pretty much all of them, all of his disciples. But few examples are given, few incidents are given here and there. How Prabhupada just uplifted a person from nowhere. Just like Prabhupada, when he was in New York and he used to go to Central Park of New York for a walk in the morning. And he was with his disciples walking and discussing various philosophical aspects. So one like, I don't want to say hippie, but hippie is a good word for him. He was like living on the street like a beggar. And he, from behind the bushes, he just came and he jumped and he grabbed onto Prabhupada's lotus feet. And Prabhupada, this boy was so unkempt. He had long hair, beard, and his clothes were all dirty. He probably hadn't eaten for quite a few days. And he was just somehow grabbing onto Prabhupada's lotus feet. And the other disciples, they tried to remove him. Prabhupada stopped them. Prabhupada just rubbed his hand in this boy's head, in this boy's hair. And Prabhupada said, "Don't worry, I got you, don't worry." And then Prabhupada told his disciples to take this boy to the temple. So they took him to the temple, and Prabhupada told him to just shave him up and give him nice dhoti kurta, and give him prasadam and let him to do some services. So they shaved him up, and after they shaved him, they found a real person inside, behind all the hairs. And I don't know what name he told the disciples, what was his name, but they called him Pigpen, actually. Pig like a sewer, Pigpen. So this boy, he used to be there. He used to be serving whichever way he can, and used to be attending the classes, started chanting. So all the devotees, because at that time Sankirtan movement, book distribution was like the forefront of the activities. So all the devotees used to go for book distribution, and they would never take Pigpen with them because they thought he can hardly speak. Actually, he would never speak anything, and he can hardly speak. What is he going to do? How is he going to sell books? So they would never take him. But one day he requested the temple president that I want to go for book distribution. So reluctantly, devotees took him in the van. So the process at that time was they would park the van at some place, and then everybody would get the book bag, and they would take the books with them, whatever they can carry. And whenever they run out of books, they will come to the van and refill the bag and go again. So the Sankirtan leader, he gave everybody the books, and he gave this Pigpen also some books. So after just like few minutes, this boy came back. And Sankirtan leader was thinking, oh, maybe he gave up, that this is not his cup of tea. So he was ready to chastise him for wasting his time. But this boy came back and he said, give me more books. I already sold all my books. And Sankirtan leader was shocked. How can you do that? I mean, so many my veteran book distributors are out there, and they haven't come back, and you just came back. You just went and came back already. Pigpen said, yeah, I sold all my books. Here's the money. You take the money and give me more books. So Sankirtan leader was surprised, but he was happy also. So he gave him more books. So like that, he distributed so many books in the whole day, much more than anybody else. So in the end, in the evening, everybody was discussing. So they started asking Pigpen, how do you distribute books? You don't even know the philosophy, you don't know what to say. So Pigpen said, well, I just say one thing to people, whoever I meet, that I don't know what's inside the books. That's for sure. But because still today, if you see behind the book and the hardcover, on every book behind, on the last page, there is a picture of Prabhupada. So Pigpen said that I would approach people and I would tell them, this is my spiritual master. He saved me, and he will save you also if you take this book. And people just took the books. So that was his simplicity, and that was his faith in Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, by his so much of services he did for all those many years, and after Prabhupada left his body, again, this boy was kept on serving in different temples. So few years back, I think in 2010 or 12, something like that, he contracted some serious disease in America. And then he came to Vrindavan. They arranged for him to come to Vrindavan. And he stayed in the hospice. And he left his body in Vrindavan amongst all the devotees, with devotees chanting for him. What a glorious leaving of body. We all have to leave the body. Like you all know, my mother just left the body a few days back, about a week back. But that is a real leaving the body, leave the body in Dham. And he got so much of mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And this is what Prabhupada is writing. If he bestows his blessings upon any disciple, he'll make the disciple immediately advanced. So a bona fide guru, a real guru, can do that. And that is And that is when we approach a guru with all humility and service attitude. So this is just one of the examples that Prabhupada changed the life of a person. There's so many examples. Just like if you know of Juhu temple in Bombay, and Prabhupada had to go through so much court cases and dealing with the gundas and dealing with politicians and bureaucrats to get that piece of land. And after he got that land, the bureaucrats and the original owner of the land, they were still not happy. So they wanted to get rid of the devotees. So what they had done, they sent Prabhupada and disciple, they had built one room or two rooms. One room was where Radha Bihari was installed, and the other room was used as a kitchen because they all used to sleep outside. So, so what happened on Friday, one Friday, this Mr. Nair, who was a original owner of that land, he sent some gundas and he sent some municipality workers also to break the temple. The idea was that this is illegally constructed, so they had in mind that we'll send people on Friday because then 2 days the court is closed, so whatever happens, it will happen on Monday. And we'll get a stay order if everything is broken, that the structure wasn't there. So it will go against ISKCON. So the whole story is mentioned very in the detail in Prabhupada Lilamrita. So what had happened then, these gundas came and municipality people also came with them. And they were breaking, they started beating up the devotees. They started, and police was also there, and they started arresting, the police started arresting the devotees for they were stopping the municipality workers. And municipality workers were started to break the temple. And somehow, one devotee, somehow he ran away from all this. And he ran away and he called our good friend, Bal Thackeray, Shiv Sena leader. Somehow he knew Bal Thackeray, where this devotee was from Bombay. And it is said the municipality workers, they had reached the roof of where Radha Bihari was installed. And they were breaking the roof. They hadn't broken, but they were breaking. And Bal Thackeray, because he is Hindu, so he called the municipality commissioner. And he called him and he told him that I heard that you are breaking a Hindu temple in Mumbai. How in the world you can do that? And the commissioner said, I don't know what is going on. Nobody asked me. So he called the municipality people, whoever was in charge, and he told him, stop it right now and you all come back. So anyway, so this demolition stopped. So it was Friday and it started raining. Bombay, it rains a lot. And then Prabhupada had this person, Mr. Sethi, P.L. Sethi. He was a contractor. So they all approached Mr. P.L. Sethi and they asked him, because now they had 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, lots of structure was broken because on Monday they were going to go to the court and get the stay order. So stay order is on the structure which is already built, which is already there, then the court gives you the stay order, then nobody will break it. So he was asked that, can you build the structure back again, whatever is broken in 2 days? You have only 2 days. Mr. Sethi said, yes, I'll do it. So he got all his crew from wherever in Bombay, everybody was working. He had got his son, the mason, the laborers, everybody came and he said, we have to do, even if we have to work overnight, we work whole night. But we have to build the temple wherever it was before. before these Gundas came. So they started the construction. But then Mr. Nair sent about 150 Gundas, because now the municipality people will not come because commissioner told them not to do all these things. But the Gundas came, and Mr. Sethi and his son, they were there. So Gunda's leader came and he told Mr. Sethi, you better go away because this is, now we have to do something. So Mr. Sethi told him that, you see, you are 150 and we are only 2. But we have 2 guns and we have about 100 bullets. So you tell me, whoever wants to come and die. I mean, this is ISKCON temple. We are talking. And even Mr. Sethi said, because he was speaking in Prabhupada's memories tape, and he said, even I didn't believe, they all ran away. Nobody came in the front. All the Gundas ran away. And then they built the 2 rooms, and Monday they got the stay order. It was in favor of ISKCON. Whatever is built is built. It's not going to be broken till the court case goes on. And finally, Prabhupada won the court case. So once Prabhupada saw Mr. Sethi, and he asked him that you build these rooms for my disciples. There were some guest rooms had to be built. So he asked Mr. Sethi to build the rooms. And Mr. Sethi obliged, and he was building. And Prabhupada came and told him personally, and he has said in the tape, Prabhupada told him, you are building rooms for my devotees here. Krishna is building a room for you in Golok Vrindavan. Prabhupada was so pleased with his service. Mr. Sethi didn't used to chant, and he used to have all the tea and whatever. He wasn't a devotee, he wasn't initiated or anything. But it was Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada saw his service mode, and Prabhupada gave him all his mercy. So that is the power of a pure devotee, a bona fide representative of Krishna. He can do that. So actually, I give this example to everybody that this movement, ISKCON, is still Prabhupada's movement. Prabhupada is very much there, very much here. We have to be able to talk to him. We have to be able to communicate with him. And Prabhupada will take care of anybody and everybody who has ever done service for his movement. Prabhupada will. We have to have that faith. So that faith will be there if we are simple at heart. We have to be very simple and have faith in Prabhupada. If we have this cheating tendency, then like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in the 11th chapter, of all kinds of cheating and gambling. So Krishna is the biggest cheater of all of us, than all of us. So Krishna can cheat us also. But if we have simple heart and ready to serve him, no matter what, then Krishna will take care. And maybe like some of the devotees have their experience. They say, maybe Krishna will get busy because he has the whole world to look after, whole universe. But Prabhupada will always take care of you. So have full faith in Srila Prabhupada. And like Krishna also tells Arjun, Kaunteya prati jani hi name bhakta pran. He is asking Arjun to declare. So like Arjun, Prabhupada is also there. When Prabhupada declares or Prabhupada says something, Krishna has to fulfill those promises that Prabhupada makes. So we have to have full faith in Prabhupada. And Prabhupada will never let us down. So with a simple heart, if we are serving and if we are approaching Prabhupada humbly, that's the fulfillment of life, actually. Then another quality, cleanliness. Cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. There are two kinds of cleanliness, external and internal. External cleanliness means taking a bath, but for internal cleanliness, one has to think of Krishna always and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This process cleans the accumulated dust of past karma from the mind. So there are two kinds of cleanliness, Prabhupada saying external and internal. External means one has to take bath regularly. In fact, it is said at least twice a day one should take bath, morning and evening. And because one has to be clean, very much clean, because we are, after all, we are serving the Supreme Lord. Arjun himself says in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhava. You are Param Pavitra, you are the supremely pure, O Krishna. So how much clean we should be, both internally and externally, when we approach Krishna. We should be very clean. And internal cleanliness. For internal cleanliness, one has to chant Krishna's name. What does that mean? That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no? Cheto Darpan Marjanam by Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Means the mirror of the heart has to be cleansed. So what's all the dirty things? What's the dust on the mirror of the heart? That dust is basically of our desires. Desires to enjoy separately from Krishna. And it starts from that. Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Mad, Matsarya. This Kam means to desire separately from Krishna. Lust. So that has to be cleansed away. And that can only be cleansed away when we are chanting. By chanting, what happens? Krishna himself enters our heart in the form of holy name. Because he's not different from holy name. He enters our heart and he sits in the heart. And then he makes sure, or he in fact inspires us, motivates us, that we desire nothing but his service. Or slowly, more we chant, so slowly, he takes away, he removes every desire except the desire that is good for us, that helps us in making advancement in bhakti, that is there for service of Krishna. So desires cannot be nullified, or annulled, because we always have to have desires. So if we don't have material desires, if we don't have spiritual desires, then we'll definitely have material desires. So he removes the material desires by bringing the spiritual desires in the front. And that spiritual desire is, okay, yeah, you want to eat something, eat, but first offer me. You want to dress nicely, dress, but first do my dressing. So Krishna removes all the other desires by putting himself in the front, putting his service in the front. He says, you want to talk my topics. Because this tongue has to be used properly, and tongue is the first thing that we can use in both talking and eating. So eating is done, eat prasadam, talk my name, chant my name, sing my glories. Because he knows by singing his glories, by chanting his names, we will get purified. Because then we are directly associating with Krishna. And this is what pleases Krishna a lot. Not that we are not like a mundane politician because he hires people to glorify him or chant his name or say different things about him. No. Krishna knows when we chant his name, Krishna's name, we will get purified, means then we will be eligible or we'll get qualified to go back to the spiritual world, to be with him. That's what pleases him. So this is a real cleanliness. This we have to cleanse our heart of all the material desires, and that's only possible if we just fill up our heart with the spiritual desire. And that's why Prabhupada has given us wonderful practices, wonderful procedure from the time we get up to the time we go to sleep, whole day we can be engaged in these practices. So that will slowly, 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 slowly cleanse our heart. And then that cleanliness, Prabhupada is saying cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. And that's why once in, I think, one temple, or Prabhupada told somebody to make a plate and put it in the temple. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So once our heart is cleansed, once our heart is cleansed means we will come to the mode of, at least come to the mode of goodness, if not beyond. So once somebody is in the mode of goodness, passion means lots of desires and the person is running around to fulfill those desires. And ignorance means he does everything opposite to scriptures. So goodness means desires are there, but they are clean desires. The desire to serve the humanity, if it is goodness, and if it goes beyond goodness, then it is desire to serve Krishna. So when that desire is there, that cleanliness of heart has taken place, then the person will keep the environment also clean. The temple will be clean, his house will be clean, the environment will be clean, the relationships will be clean, his dealings will be clean with everybody, because a person in goodness cannot cheat others. A person in goodness will not fight with anybody else. Just imagine if two devotees who are in goodness, complete mode of goodness, if they somehow, for some reason, momentarily, if they fall in mode of passion and maybe they had a fight, but as soon as they come back to mode of goodness, they will say, no, no, Prabhu, it was my mistake, it was my fault. No, it was my fault. And they won't be pretending. It will be really coming from the heart. So there will not be any discord among the devotees or among general people. So this cleanliness takes us to that point. Internal and external cleanliness means our dealings with others will be very clean, very nice, very cordial relationship will be there, because this is what this is Krishna is telling all these qualities, because these are the qualities of people in the spiritual world. They don't have any fights among themselves. They're always cooperating. They're always in the mode of serving each other, taking care of each other. So all these qualities are from the spiritual world. This is what we have to be. We have to develop to be eligible to go back to the spiritual world. Of course, beyond this, we have to develop bhakti also. But these are all the qualities that come as part of bhakti. So, sorry, I covered only 2 qualities or 3 qualities today. But anybody has any questions or comments, we can discuss that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for spending so much time on these qualities, because these are very hard to imbibe. I have a question, Prabhuji. No matter what, at least I do, in fact, no matter, in fact, though yes, of course, I've not been able to wake up early at 3:30 and start chant right from then. But how do I remove the propensity of negative thoughts? I'll share with you an example which happened just today at the start of the class. In fact, this is a pure reflection of how my thoughts and my dealings have become so negative. For instance, about Rashmi Mataji, we were talking, in fact, whereas I know we are unwell and hence she doesn't want to bother us, and that is why she has not come. But because of so much negativity. But I'm thinking that is it that she is thinking that it is perhaps contagious. So that's just one example. In fact, I want to understand how is it that this negative thinking and thought will go away. I know one is chanting, but beyond that, what is it that I can do or people can do as general so that this negative thought can go away gradually and be filled with positive no matter whatever be the circumstance.
See, on this, I have, because I always, not always, sometimes I listen to Sister Shivani, and I like the way she, many times she puts things in right perspective. She always says that nobody's wrong. You are also right. Rashmi is also right. Everybody is right. According, they are right, and it is true actually. Just like if you ask Pucci something, and he will say things according to his consciousness, and he's right when he says things according to his consciousness, and you are also right according to yours. So, as adults and as aspiring devotees, we should be able to see others' viewpoint from their angle, not their viewpoint from our angle. That's where we make the mistakes. We try to see, I mean, Rashmi said no to you. From my perspective, I'm trying to see her answer, but I have to see her answer from her perspective. Whether she is thinking that she might or Arushi might get sick if she comes to your house, maybe. Whether she is thinking that it will create unnecessary uncomfort for you, maybe. So if we start looking at others' viewpoints and think why they are saying that, we will appreciate their viewpoint actually. We'll appreciate that person's um, contributions. And then there will not be any negativity. So this is what Shivani Didi says, no? Stop expecting, start appreciating, start accepting. So something that I learned from Shivani Didi also. Hope that was okay.
I think it is still very difficult, Prabhuji, for me. So I'm just trying to find a way out because so much by the conditioning, in fact, instantaneously, in fact, whatever you do, will regret little later. That negative thought. But then it's true, in fact, we should be more accepting. So that way things will fall into place. But that instantaneous response, how do I curb that? In fact, that momentarily though.
Well, that'll come with practice. Maybe right now we react, and slowly we'll come to responding, not reacting. We have to work on these. That's all it is.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other question or comment?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was very nice class.
Thank you,
Thanks
Vanta.
so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vanta.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.